Hey guys, how you doing? This is electrojed. This is going to be my review on Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 1. There's a lot to talk about here. We want to start off with the opening scene. This, by far, has been the best opening scene ever on Game of Thrones. This, in my opinion, shows exactly how badass I think Arya is. Maisie Williams playing this role. She totally owns this role. No one else. You can never predict. You can never see anyone else playing that role. She's been in that role since she was a little kid. So that being said, her coming on as Walder Frey and killing all the Freys, I thought that was just poetic justice. That being said, I want to state that I have a theory, personally. I don't know what you guys think. As far as the Valonqar goes with Cersei Lannister, I think, this is just my opinion, I think somehow they're going to do the same thing this year that they did last year. And this might answer why Lena Headey has a contract until season 8, the same way that the actor that played Walder Frey had a contract up until season 7. I think what's going to happen is that Arya is going to kill Jaime, put on Jaime's face, and then kill Cersei. And then next year, have Cersei's face on. Now, bear with me here. From what she says, she's headed down to King's Landing. And even though they thought she was joking, the Lannister soldiers that you saw there that she was having lunch with, having a bit of rabbit with, that you knew she was going to kill all of them. You just knew it. But she's just going to get closer using their faces to get in closer to King's Landing. And then eventually come up onto Jaime, kill him, because I do believe he's on the list too. And then kill Cersei, because that would make the prophecy come true twofold. First of all, she's the younger sister. She is the younger sister of Robb Stark, and she would be having the face of Jaime Lannister, which would be still the younger brother, and even though she inherits the traits, I'm pretty sure both hands are going to be working to put around Cersei's throat. That's just my opinion. Alright, moving on. Okay, so I'm also hyped about Bran and him finally getting to the wall. I like how Edison asked him, how do we know who you say? How do we know you're who you say you are? And he started naming all the shit that Edison had been through, as far as Hard Home, seeing the Night King and all that stuff. And Edison was like, oh, okay, let's get this guy inside and get inside. I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Bran has to say now that he is technically south of the wall. Can't wait to see what he ends up telling people over at Winterfell, which I know he will eventually get there. I don't know how many episodes it's going to take for him to get there, but he'll get there. Getting to Winterfell, the discussion that was going on there as far as preparing for the upcoming wars with the Night King and the Whites and all that stuff. In my opinion, I don't think Jon is going to be a bad King of the North. I think he's got his head squarely fastened and set on his shoulders. The fact that Sansa and him can disagree on a few things, I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, in my opinion, it's just checks and balances. I also do think that because Jon disagreed with Sansa as far as take the houses away from the Costocks and the Umbers, I think that Littlefinger thinks that's his way into, connive his way into back in with Sansa. I'm not sure if that's going to work. I kind of doubt it. I highly doubt it, in fact, because I think Sansa is smarter than Littlefinger now, in my opinion, because she's not only learned from Littlefinger, but she's also learned from the Boltons and also from Cersei and from Tyrion as well. So, in my opinion, I think Sansa's a lot smarter than than Littlefinger's giving her credit for. The dynamic between Sansa and Jon, I really, really like a lot. I don't think that she's going to betray Jon at all. I don't. I think that they're going to argue about stuff, and that's how things are going to get run right. I mean, if you do everything just the way one person says, that's a recipe for catastrophe there. But I think Jon has sense enough to realize, okay, after what happened with Battle of the Bastards, Sansa does have some experience. And the dialogue between those two, in my opinion, worked out pretty well. I like the dynamic between those two. I'm looking forward to seeing how they get along and how the dynamic works out later on. I also like the fact that homage was given where it was due. I mean, Sansa clearly explained that she did learn a lot from Cersei. That doesn't mean she likes Cersei or she's Team Cersei, but she definitely learned a lot. That can contribute to the survival of Sansa to possibly the end of the series. But we won't know until the end. But it's definitely contributed to Sansa being able to deal with people a little better than the naive girl she was back between season 1 and 3. Anyway, moving on to let's get to King's Landing and what happened there with Jaime and Cersei. Well, we know that they were working on the strategy to fight their enemies, which Cersei obviously knows that they have enemies to the north, the east, the west, and the south. So they are surrounded. And Jaime, I was very impressed with the fact that Jaime is not stupid. He definitely knows what's going on around him. He knows the areas. He knows the kingdom well. He's very well versed on all the houses. That being said, he's not going to be caught with his britches down. He's definitely going to be able to plan, have strategy for attack and defenses for whatever comes his way. Is he going to have enough? We don't know. Because like he said, people don't like siding with the losing side. At best, they have 3, maybe 4 kingdoms on their side. So that being the case, the fact that Cersei made arrangements to see Euron Greyjoy, and not for nothing, I liked the way Euron talked with Cersei in the throne room. I really did. I liked the little jab that he made at Jaime with "I have 2 working hands." I thought that was hilarious. I snickered at that shit. I was like, "Oh snap!" Anyway, but Euron, I gotta watch for him. Euron, I'm hoping he turns out to be a really cool bad guy. In my opinion, Ramsay was like one of the best bad guys ever. But let's see. He's got 2 seasons. Euron's got 2 seasons. I don't know if he's going to survive this season or not. But he's got 2 seasons to prove that he's going to be like one of the best bad guys ever. After seeing the way he was talking with Cersei and the jabs he was throwing at Jaime, there's a possibility in there. Moving on to the next point. So we see Sam is training, and I like how the opening shot goes to the thing that opens up the intro to Game of Thrones. I really like that a lot. So I have to say, I never felt so sorry for an individual as I did for Sam in this episode. Poor guy. I didn't think anyone could sling that much shit. Literally. I like the fact that Gilly was there with little Sam, and Sam went ahead and stole the key. After he talked with the Archmaester that was teaching him whatever they were teaching him, because they were doing some sort of autopsy, and Sam was asking the Maester if he can get into the restricted area. Well, a good thing to know is that the Maester believed Sam when Sam said he's seen the White Walkers and what they can do. So Sam stole the key. Kudos to him, because he got some information from the books, specifically about the dragon glass and where it can be mined, which is, lo and behold, where Daenerys is at. This is going to be interesting. This is definitely going to force a meeting between Jon and Daenerys. And I'd love to see how that goes. Moving on to the Hound. But anyway, Sandor, we cut to Sandor, and you can see that he's with the Brotherhood Without Banners. And I didn't realize until my wife told me that the house that they come upon was the same house from a few seasons ago.
You're slow as fuck.
I know. From a few seasons ago of the guy and the daughter that he stole the silver from. When the guy told him that I had a little silver hidden away from the bandits. Shouldn't have told Sandor that. The Hound took the money anyway. And they found their bodies in there. You know, it was just a sad situation. But the cool thing about this was when Sandor looked into the flame, when Thoros of Myr asked him to look into the flame, and he eventually went to the flame and looked, he saw some sort of vision that included the White Walkers, that included the wall, and it looks like Sandor is believing, or he's starting to believe in something, and it's going to give him the motivation to get stuff done. Anyway, that's cool on that. This episode was just so chock full of answers, and then you have more questions. So we moved on to then Daenerys finally gets to Dragonstone. Goodness gracious, I really enjoyed watching that for the simple reason she finally got home. I love the fact that she totally avoided the throne there and went to the planning room, or where that big map table was at when we first saw Stannis at. So yeah, that was cool. I like how she brought down Stannis's sigil. She took down the sigil off of the wall. Anyway, the episode ended with her saying, "Shall we get started?" Man, she ain't playing. She don't want to rest. She wants to get straight to it. Understandably so. Anyway, I am looking forward to next week's episode. You will see a reaction video. And next Tuesday, you will get another review video. Thanks for watching. Peace, everybody.